Okay, we are going to work on a tree skirt. So the easiest way that I have found to do this is using a CD. I have one of my kids' old DVDs that's already scratched and ruined. Definitely use one that you don't care about because you're gonna be touching all over it. So I have my rope made. Now I use an entire 40 strip jelly roll pack. I have tried to do one with just the 20, and if you have like a mini tree, that is an okay size for like a mini tree, but it was quite small. So for a full-size tree, I would recommend at least the 40 strips. However, I took 2 strips out because this is going to be the binding, and I'll show you that in a couple steps when we have our rug completed. So it's going to end up kind of like our CD here, right? Where there's a hole in the middle. We're going to sew our strips will make it to circle. So we're going to cut open, and we'll use these 2 strips as the binding where we cut it open and where we add our ties. Now you could just leave it the full circle without cutting it, and then add those 2 in. If you're like for artificial trees, that would work well. If you have like a real tree where you can't just like, put the skirt over a stand, then that's not going to work out so well. So you'll need that slit. But those are the 2 options. So I am going to show you how I cut that and then bind it. But first, let's get it on the CD and let me show you how we use this. So like I said, I have my rope all ready. And on your rope, you have the side where your fold is. I am going to tuck the CD right into this fold and pin it. Not pin it, I'm gonna clip it. This is where clips are fantastic, and I actually prefer clips for this better than pinning, because you can't really pin it to a CD. This step does take a little bit of finagling. We're gonna smush it around and pin it basically as frequently as we can, because like we said before, we want this outer side to be as flat as possible, and so it's going to smush that inside. And so we're kind of going to, you can see I'm kind of pushing it in a little bit, and then pulling it up, and then I'm clipping it, clip it. Same thing, make sure it's in between there, give it a little bit of a swoosh. You want to keep holding it, you want to keep it, you don't want to take it too loose and wiggly. Got my zigzag ready. Stick it under here. And we are going to add a couple of stitches just to secure it. So part of also why I like to put it in between is it does give a stopping spot for how far the CD is going to go. If I were just to clip the fabric on top of the CD, it could end up where the needle's then going to puncture the CD, and I don't want that. I just want it to hold it in a circle. That's all I'm using it for. So I'm going to back stitch and front stitch. So with all of our other ways, we have pins as we go. You can, but it is going to make it a little bit tricky because with these clips, at least this first, each clip is removed. And that's helping me keep the side flatter. Just a quick reminder, these videos are sped up quite significantly, just for the sake of the time of the video, so don't think that I'm actually sewing anywhere near this fast. I am going very slow. Take your time, give yourself lots of grace. Okay, so now we're at the point where we have gone a full circle. We've gone all the way around. Here was our start, back to the end, and you can kind of see that when I am pushing down, it is pulling up my center. When you're done and you iron it, it is going to iron that part flat, so don't worry about it. I like to leave the CD for as long as I can, just to help give it that stable center circle, so that as I'm going, it's not going to so I leave that in as long as I can, just kind of holding it with my hand. And if you've noticed, I kind of keep my hand here while I'm spinning it. Of course, as it gets bigger, it's going to stabilize itself, so you're not going to move that as much. But you're at the point now where if you feel like you, like I said before, you always can pin whenever you want to, but it will be easier the farther out that you go to pin it in place, just to help you keep that outer side nice and flat, and then pin it the same way that we did keep your outside, keep smushing the inside, just like and again, this would be another reason why I'm going to see that you don't care about, because these pins can stretch it when they get in there. So you can pin, as way around, as far around as you want, and then just keep stitching. Again, we're basically just doing a giant circle, so you're gonna pretty much curve the entire time. Now, the wider that you get, of course, the less tight the curve is gonna be, and so it's gonna be easier. Just like when you're doing a overlog, when you're, the wider the curve, the farther you get, the easier it is to keep your curves flat. But feel free to keep an iron right next to your table, right next to your machine, like a mini iron, and you can press it down if you feel the need to press it while